Hello, Yakri here with another World of Warcraft video, and today I want to talk about something that Blizzard has done really well in some of their other games, but it feels like the developers, or at least the current developers, developer teams have a pretty large staff and they change out fairly often. The current developers of World of Warcraft that worked on Battle for Azeroth seem to have forgotten this lesson. And before I get into it, I want to define some terms and talk about some general game design stuff, right? There's this term that's a little bit ill-defined in the sense that there's not like a hard dictionary definition for this. You can't go into a textbook glossary and find the perfect definition. People use it in a few different ways, and the term is degenerate gameplay. Okay, so the most definitely correct way, right, to use it, the most common definition is if your players find a way, let's say in some game X, you can beat any boss by bunny hopping your character very quickly. You'll let you beat them very quickly, at least. Now, you don't have to do that to beat bosses. It's not very fun. It's kind of annoying. Chase your camera around. The camera controls aren't very good in that game, and most players find it irritating. But they do it because they want to beat the boss faster, right? That's degenerate gameplay. Players are doing something that's not intended and that's outside the gameplay loop, and maybe that they don't even want to do, but they do want to beat your game. And they want to grind stuff or something. And so because of that, they engage in this gameplay that they don't find enjoyable and isn't intended by the developer. And that's degenerate gameplay. Now, there's a broader definition. I'd call it like a secondary definition. You have those less used definitions in the dictionary that I personally have used for a long time. And I've seen it used by other people in a few places. And I think it's appropriate, which is to talk about like optional gameplay that isn't optional, right? Is something you could potentially classify into this, where you have like some game mechanic or some bit of content, like a side quest, and because it's a side quest, it's separate, it's not important to the main gameplay. You think, all right, I can have a little fun with this. I can make something that most of the people who are going to enjoy this game wouldn't enjoy. But it's fine because they don't have to do it. They can just skip past it. And that group of players, maybe the 30% of players or 20% of players who do get the game and will appreciate this, can go through and they can enjoy it. And for those other players, the other 70% of players or 80% of players, there will be a lot of other stuff that maybe is more just for them. That we'll do this a few more times, targeting different groups of people, and it'll be kind of a fun thing to do to kind of break up the game. And you do that, and but this thing that's targeted towards like a small amount of players, or any kind of minority or like subgroup, right? As long as it's not literally the entire target audience of your game, or not the same target audience as the rest of your game, right? The reason this is relevant will, I think, arise as I continue. So you realize that everyone is doing it, right? Your whole audience. At first you think, oh, this is great, they really enjoy it. Well, a lot of people are complaining that they hate this mechanic on your forums. And of course, the classic player response by other players is, well, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Well, here's the thing. Ultimately, if people are doing something that they don't enjoy, there's a good reason for that. No one has a job that they hate and goes in every day to work because of no reason. They want to get paid and continue living in a house. There's other things that they want and that they like that they won't get unless they continue doing this thing that they hate. And that's fine for life, but it's pretty bad if you're making a game, which is supposed to be fun. People are supposed to be having fun, ideally, in the perfect scenario. They'll be having fun the whole time they do it. During the grinding, during the time gating, stuff that's kind of time gating content, they'll even be having fun. During the loading screens, they'll be having fun. They'll love every second of it. That's the ideal. It's impossible, but that's what you'd like, right? So it's bad if you have that happening. And how this happens is basically, the developers make some side content and they make it so rewarding that all the players who hate that kind of side content can't feel like they can't pass it up. And ultimately what will happen is that players will not pass up that side content. They'll do it, they'll hate doing it, and they will go onto your forums to complain about it. And it is the developer's fault, because some of your players did not have fun playing your game because of decisions that you made on how to design your game. And it could have been avoided if you had essentially correctly designed that piece of content. Right. So, yeah, this is something that I think Blizzard has actually done a pretty good job of in a lot of games, not World of Warcraft, but other games like Diablo, Overwatch, not Hearthstone probably actually, but especially Diablo. Diablo did a pretty good job of just removing this kind of gameplay in an effective way. For the most part, no one's perfect, right? But World of Warcraft has really gone the opposite way of embracing it, right? And so let me give you the example. This is something I personally hate. Maybe I'm sure since I decided to pick this as my point of complaint, I'm sure someone is going to post on my video and talk about how they fucking love these Tortalian Seeker quests. But I fucking hate every single one of the mini games. Okay, the match 2 is kind of okay, but every single other one of the mini games for the Tortalian Seekers. And however, look at this particular quest. Now, the rewards are random, but this one, 250 rep with them, in addition to the rep that you get for just doing the quest. Now, rep is really important to grind in World of Warcraft, and I know that there's a good chance that there will be something I want that requires high rep with the Tortalian Seekers. I don't want to get high rep with them because their world quests are fucking unbearable, in my opinion. And they seem almost like a joke side thing. However, and perhaps I'm not giving Blizzard enough credit here, but in the past, many times before, Blizzard has had stuff kind of like this, kind of side, factions and stuff, and ultimately, reputation with them has been very important, and it seems it's kind of hinting. Feel like it's going to go the same way. Maybe they're going to be included as a bonus faction you need to get exalted with, to get flying or something. Probably not. But there could be some unlocks or stuff associated with them that I'm going to want later. And so I know that if I pass up an opportunity, like doing this quest, which is an unusually high reward for one of their quests, that I will regret it later because there's something else I want. But I'm going to hate doing this every second as I do it. So I'm going to do it. And I think Blizzard includes a decent number of quests like that. Whoa, that's... God, I wonder how loud the background volume of the game has been this whole time. I don't think it's too bad. Hopefully you can still hear me. So I'm gonna do this, even though I'm gonna hate it. And Blizzard's done a lot of stuff like this. Like, I think one of the things that pissed me off the most in Legion, I was going for the flying mount, and I had to do this stupid little like herding cats quest. It took a while. It was really frustrating. Did not like it. And it's not cool. I think I'm pretty much done with this video, which is good. But because doing this is actually hard, like not totally trivial, which is really even more annoying than the fact that you have to do it at all. But yeah, so this is a little game, and it's the part of the problem reason that I hate these so much in particular is that they're slow and they're time gated, right? Like if you click in your inputs as fast as you can, you have to wait between each one a significant period of time. There's the same problem with the Match 2 game, which would be kind of, I don't know, like a Match 2 fanatic, but it's not unfun, at least. Like, I feel this is pretty frustrating because you like moves 2 things at a time. You can accidentally queue up actions, and if you touch anything you get reset all the way to the start, and it's super long. And then there's like the stupid seagull fucking bonanza quest, which is basically just mash your Q button until you get carpal tunnel, if you have key bindings like mine at least, and you win the quest eventually after like again time gated amount of time to like make it pure suffering. And they pretty much could make these fun by maybe not doing this one or the seagull one, and in the case of the Match 2 they could just make it fast and responsive, and it would feel pretty good. But they've intentionally made them not fast, not responsive, and feel crappy because they want you to take more time on them too. So it's like, so basically this is this weird anti-fun thing that, yes, maybe some people do enjoy this, but it's not really side content. I have a similar gripe with the fact that Pet Battles content can get you gear upgrades for running dungeons. That's fucked up, man. I don't want to deal with the stupid secondary half-supported Pokemon system. So fuck me, right? I guess, because I don't want to deal with that. I get a disadvantage. And I don't know, it kind of leads into a lot of other things, like gripes I've had and things Blizzards have said that's kind of bullshit. I want to do a separate I don't want to say too much more on that, because I want to talk about, like, he talked about why they removed like auto grouping for the World Quest group finder and stuff, and I think they kind of have been disingenuous with their motivations for doing that, partly because World Quests are time gated. There's a certain number that spawn every so many hours, and no, even if you could cheat and instantly complete all of them as they spawn, you would not be able to outpace some like fanatical player who plays not even that much, like 6 hours a day or 4 hours a day, if you're efficient enough, right? Yeah, so I think that pretty much sums up this quest. I think this is kind of like the forcing your players into. I don't know if everyone will agree with me that this should fall into the degenerate gameplay classification, but forcing your players into side content that not everyone will find fun, particularly like, you know, subsection everyone who would find your base game fun, right? Because everyone will say like, well, not everyone finds every game fun. If you don't like, you don't have to play it. Well, here's the thing: World of Warcraft is a very different game than whatever the fuck this shit is here, and I like World of Warcraft. I don't like fucking what is this? This is like. What's the game that's exactly like this? This is based on some other minigames. Heaven forbid they do something original. I know I've played an equivalent to this before. Where's the oldest one? I can't think of it. But whatever the fuck this is, it's nothing like World of Warcraft. And there's no reason to expect that anyone in particular who likes World of Warcraft would enjoy this. This sort of bullshit is something that people tolerate, I'd like to think, than something people typically enjoy about this game. So... Oh, I fucked up. Can I salvage it? Anyway. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, so that's all for now. Thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you actually like this content. You know, maybe throw out some questions for me if there's any of you out there who actually want to see more World of Warcraft related content. Maybe put a suggestion down below. I'm open to some thoughts. I've got some other videos I'm gonna try and work on today, so hopefully my long absence is ended and I'll get a few videos out every week from here on out. See y'all.